Welcome to Knife Reviews. I'm your host Joshua Hightower. Sad to say that my son Evan has been sick the last 2 days, so he was unable to make it out in the woods. He actually came out and tried to do a little bit of the filming, but he started feeling pretty sick, so he went ahead and I took him back home. We're going to go over a survival type knife today. It's called the Kilimanjaro Kibo. It is 9.75 overall inches with a 4.75 inch blade. It's a stainless steel. It does have an 1.25 inch serrated edge on it. It has that double injected molded handle on it and a hammer butt. It is a full tang knife all the way to the hammer butt, and it has a titanium carbon tride coating on it and a spot here for striking a ferrule rod. For this knife, I want to use the same bushcraft style categories that we use, which are chopping and batoning, cutting, feather sticking, spine scraping, and ferrule rod usage. So it chops pretty well. I've found that it's actually got a very forward heavy blade. It has a pretty decent balance on it. It does have that heavy butt and a heavy blade, so it tends to even out quite a bit. It would be right about here on the balance. And then, as with any blade, we want to make sure it has edge or integrity after you get done chopping. And it seems to do all right. It's not incredibly sharp, but it's getting the job done. So it's all right. So it's batoning quite well. I've batoned on both the serrated edge and the plain edge, and I've found that it actually does quite well with this Scandi style grind. It's popping the wood out pretty well on both the serrated and the plain edge. I have noticed that coating is coming off pretty easily just from a little bit of batoning. The serrated edge obviously is going to stay pretty sharp, and that plain edge is doing fine. It doesn't baton as great as I'd like it to, and with this rubber handle, if you do happen to miss just a little bit, I got in pretty thick on it, and when I hit it, it rolled just a little bit, and it bumped that and just tore up that hand guard just a little bit. So for the Kibo on chopping and batoning, we're going to give this a 7 out of 10 overall score. on that serrated edge, it actually does pretty well. It has a very generic serrated pattern on it, one that seems to work on a lot of other serrated blades, and it's doing just fine. Obviously, it grooves the cut, and if you're looking for a smooth cut, you would stray away from using the serrated edge on that portion of it. Now for the plain edge. On a piece of rope, this rope has been out here for a week, so it's really wet and it's going to be hard to cut. It's ballooned out like twice its size, and it's actually chopping right through that. Then if you were wanting to cut a piece of rope with your serrated edge, it's blowing right through that. I'm pretty impressed with how well it's cutting. But that's something that it should definitely excel at if you're keeping a serrated edge knife. As an honest evaluation, you can notch with both, you can cut with both, you can make small intricate detailed cuts with both the serrated and the plain edge. It's not a monster cutter, but it's also not a $500 knife. So in that genre of what it is, it cuts pretty decent. We'll go ahead and give this a 7 out of 10 on cutting. That's feather sticking really well, actually. That serrated edge is taking off little fine pieces and doing very well with that, actually. Yeah, that's doing great feather sticking. I'm very impressed with that. Overall, for feather sticking, I'm very impressed. Actually, the serrated edge feather sticked better than the plain edge, and that's actually about the easiest small feather sticking I've ever got. So I'm quite impressed with that. That's definitely going to help you get a fire going. So for feather sticking, I'm going to give this Kibo a 10 out of 10. It absolutely excels in this aspect of bushcraft or survival knife usage. Actually, I'd say that's some of the best bark scrapings I've ever got off of a knife. And that's doing pretty good. Just for a few seconds of scraping, that gives you the powder that you need. And you do that over a long period of time, you're going to get plenty of scrapings off of it. As you can see, there's no nicks or dings or scratches in it outside of where we've worn off that coating just a little bit. We're going to give that an 8 out of 10 on spine scraping. So the last category that we wanted to go over for the Kibo is ferrule rod usage. Because in a survival scenario, with a survival knife, you got to be able to get a ferrule rod fire going. And I brought out a big boy. I haven't used it yet. I've just cleaned off that coating on it. We're going to go ahead and give it a try. So for ferrule rod usage, I'm very, very impressed with it. I would like I said before, that notch to be a little bit bigger, but I'm impressed with that quite a bit. It'll shower sparks. And if you can't get a fire with that, you're in trouble, because that's really, really good sparks. The price range for this is right in that $45 to $55 range. So it's a very, very affordable survival style knife. I've got this one on Amazon.com. We really appreciate you being here for this. The Kilimanjaro Kibo survival knife. It's a very heavy duty knife for being $45 to $55 range. Something that if you're interested in it, definitely pick it up. If you have time, tune in next week. We're going to be doing the Heli Lapland. Once again, for Evan and I, who is sick inside, we really appreciate you being here, spending your time with us. If you could go to our YouTube and Facebook pages of knife reviews on both, give us a like, a share, a subscription. We'd really appreciate that. Have a wonderful day and God bless. Thank you.